Oh, I think it's working. Is it? Is it working? Are we live? Live? Actually live? Yes, it is. Excellent. Well, if you're here, where are we? There you are. Hi. Daniel here, Daniel Aaron, your guide to vibrant living, with you from Maui, Hawaii. And I'm super excited to, for the first time in 478 years, maybe a little exaggeration, I am broadcasting live and we get a chance to talk about a very juicy topic. Gurus, saviors, saints, villains, con men? Who knows? Let's find out. So, as we are rolling here, I am with you in this place. I'm looking down here to see if I can find you and your comments coming in. And, oh, look, I think I can. Let's see if we click on that, what happens? Click to expand. Oh, click to expand. Ah, turn the volume down. Okay, so we don't need the volume there because I can hear me. And, all right. You'll understand if I am less than perfect with this so far. I'll get there though. All right, so here's the topic, right? And if you are joining me, and maybe people don't even know because it's been 478 years, then please chime in, as in say hello and where you are in the world. And by the way, if you are watching this on replay, whatever that's called in the land of Facebook, then also please put your comments below in terms of, one, who you are, where you're from. I guess we know the who you are part. Second, what do you think about this? What's your experience with gurus, and what questions do you have here? So here at the Art of Vibrant Living HQ, the Art of Vibrant Living, by the way, that's my dedication. That is my business. It's my service. And what I do is I help spiritual people who are craving more. Money, financial abundance, meaning, impact, income, vitality. I help them to raise their vibration and take greater ownership of their daily activities and rituals so that they can finally get their outer world, their earthly experience to match up to their vision, values, and potential. Right? So, another way of saying it is I help woo-woo people, hard to pronounce that, woo-woo people, to get to some wow and wow in their lives, right? Because I don't know if you've had this experience. I have, that my insights and desires I wanted to share, yet there was, for a big time in my life, an incongruency between what I'd experienced, what I learned, what I felt, and what I was experiencing in my life. So I support people who want to create spiritual entrepreneurship businesses, who are looking for more vibrancy in their lives. And this particular topic, we use themes. There's the TH for topic. We use themes every month to kind of help hone what it is that we want to share about, what we're looking at contributing to y'all. So I'd always like to hear from you. And this month, the topic is indeed gurus. And it's, man, oh man, it's such a juicy, exciting topic because, well, there's a lot of controversy about it. There's incredible potential in the world of gurus, and I can say that from direct experience. I'll say more about that later. There's also been a lot of damage done and abuses of power in this world. The title of the book I've referred to a couple times this month in other videos and posts, a few books, but one particular called The Guru Papers, right? The subtitle, it's been like 460 years since I read this book. No, not quite that much, about 15 at least. The subtitle is something like Authoritarian Masks of Power, right? Woo! I remember when I first saw it, I had to read that twice. Authoritarian Masks of Power. Something like that. We could look it up, but I won't take your time for that now. Authoritarian masks of power. And what it means is when any of us, say we're in the disciple or shopper mode, put it that way, and when we're not in the guru role, when we are with guru or look toward guru, right, we tend to invest in them power, right? We tend to make them an authority. And there could be benefits to that. We'll get into that in a little bit. There clearly, though, can be detriments to that because when we give them authority, what do we give up? Yeah, we give up our own authority, we give up our power, and on some level, potentially, we become a victim, right? So the question becomes in some way, well, what does a guru, what is it? Well, okay, let's take it back a notch. What does guru mean? Because this is a loaded word, and of course any discussion in some ways is only as good as the ground rules of the definitions around the discussion. So, guru, in many languages, by the way, guru simply means teacher, right? And we'll get to this more specific connotations from Sanskrit and what we mean in spiritual realms. Though, and yeah, in a lot of traditions, and I lived in Indonesia for many years there, guru, the word guru, which came from India, a lot of the language in Indonesia does, simply means teacher. I had a language teacher, guru bahasa. I had, and in the West, we talk about gurus as in different realms outside of spirituality, like a marketing guru or a tech guru or a finance guru, right? And what do we mean by that? Simply somebody that's really good at it and teaches other people. Now, when it comes to further east, say India, where this word really, I don't know if it really came from or not. I actually don't know the full etymology of the word, though the loaded meaning word really does come from there. And guru means one who brings light, or one who removes darkness. Guru, remover of goo, right? So that's, to me, that's the best definition of it. There are connotations, and I'm remembering a little more of the etymology now, that means heavy or weighty, or relates to Latin gravitas, meaning there is a solidity to it, a power to it, a weight to it. And when we say guru, often what we mean is, yes, somebody who has achieved some light, who has created some light, or peeled away some of their own darkness, limitations, fears, doubts, that has revealed the truth of who they are. Now, of course, this is a premise here that's important is that everybody is light. Everybody's nature is light, love, spirit, perfection, joy. In yoga language, samadhi, the aim of the yoga practice, what does it mean? Same as the highest. Samadhi, sama, like same. Adi, the highest, right? And what it reveals, what that word reveals, is we all are divine. We all are perfect. I don't know about you. I do want to know about you, though. Please tell me. Do you live that way all the time? I forget sometimes. I forget that not only am I divine and perfect, so is everything, right? So the purpose of guru could be to remind us, right? There's a great chant. I used to use it lots when I would teach yoga asana classes, yoga physical practice, and we would chant in the beginning. It's called, ready for this? Shocking. The Guru chant, right? Or invocation to Guru. And I'm not going to chant it for you. Here I don't have my harmonium. I'm embarrassed to chant in this form. So what it means, though, is, or the way the words go is Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. I will translate, don't worry. Guru Sakshat, no, Param Brahma, Guru Sakshat, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. What does that mean? Well, Guru, again, bringer of light or teacher or sometimes holy one, right? Guru Brahma, in Hindu tradition, there is a holy trinity of divine beings, gods, we could say. Brahma, Vishnu, Devo Maheshwara, or also known as Shiva. And in simplest terms, and we are simplifying here, a very deep and powerful cosmology and philosophy. Brahma, Vishnu, and Devo Maheshwara are beginning, middle, and end. And I love part of this chant because what it points to is the Guru is the beginning, it's the middle, and the end, which says, if you think about it, that everything is Guru. And that is totally true if, and this is key, and I think this may be the most important thing I want to share on this topic, because man, it's a fun, it's a juicy topic. It's one that contains myriad stories, some of them beautiful, some of them really dark and nasty. And we could talk about all of that for a long time. What I would like most of all, though, for you is that this is actually useful. And I'm guessing that some of y'all that are watching this, live or later, have experience with gurus, and sometimes with guru experiences that were not so positive. I have some of those. I have some beautiful ones also. So what I want for you, and you may consider, do you want more guru experiences in your life? And what I would say around that is, well, it depends on you, right? And this brings us back to that invocation to Guru, Brahma, Vishnu, Deva, Maheshwara, the beginning, the middle, and the end. The wisdom that I garner from that is everything, every opportunity is a guru if we are open to learning, right? One of my teachers used to say this, I love this so much, that if somebody's ready to wake up, it doesn't matter what technique they use. Right? Meditation, Tai Chi, yoga, therapy, this type of therapy, that type of therapy, ayahuasca. If somebody's ready to wake up, it doesn't matter what technique they use. They're ripe. They're going to awaken. If somebody's not ready to wake up, it doesn't matter what technique they use. You get it? Right? That's powerful because it's much less about the technique or the guru, and not to say that they're all equal and even. There's for sure a difference between gurus and techniques. And more important is the, call it fertility of the field, the ripeness, the mindset, the state of the one who is engaging with the guru, right? The one who wants to awaken. So, another way of looking at this is that guru, as mentioned before, as someone who has awoken to some aspect of their divinity, or, are enlightened. Problematic word, we'll just skip over that for the moment. But guru is somebody who's woken up, who's freed up, who's created or experienced something inside themselves beyond what others have, or beyond what they had. And so when we come in contact with them, we see, wow, there's this amazing light in them. Skill, kindness, love, clarity, whatever form that light takes, or whatever it is that we are admiring in that person. So we might say, wow, I want to get me some of that. I want to be around that person. I want to learn from them. And the real job of the guru, and I'm speaking in a positive sense here, as in, if things are going well, is that the guru somehow reflects to the disciple that light so that they can see it in themselves, so that they can experience and know it in themselves. Right? And you know this experience, you've had it, even if, if we take it out of all these loaded words with guru and different parts of the, when we are around people who are negative or behave in negative ways, speak in negative ways a significant amount, how does it feel? Right, not so good. Yeah, it brings us down. My friend Will Bowen put it really well when in his complaint-free challenge. He put it this way: complaints are kind of like bad breath. Really easy to notice on other people, not so much on ourselves. So who do we want to be around? We want to be around people that complain a little bit less than us, which means they're a little bit more positive than we are, which means there's a little more light coming through them, a little bit less obstruction from complaints or criticisms, or you know what I'm saying. So if we are very wise, and here's the big, most empowering thing I can offer to you is, if we are very wise, we always retain responsibility for our life, how we feel, what we experience. Not in any way to blame ourselves if we're not happy with it. No, I'm not talking about that. We retain the authority. We retain the power. We're never a victim. We're always at cause. So that means that yes, we can use gurus. And whether that's everyday life experiences or somebody who's dressed in a saffron robe, if we are wise as a disciple of life or a disciple of light, that means that everything is an opportunity, including the guru that turns out to be nefarious, the guru that takes all our money, whatever it is, or worse, right? And I shared in a video not long ago about one of my gurus who was very uplifting to me in a time when I was extremely down. And as the relationship unfolded, and mind you, that was a 2-week relationship, I said something in the presence of the guru that caused the guru to kick me out of the ashram, so to speak. As in, boom, you're out, no coming back, never another word. And do you want to know what I said? Do you want to know what I said? I'll tell you. It doesn't matter though, really, because first though, my experience was that guru really was like a savior for me. I was at such a low point. I've never felt suicidal by any means, though if I leaned that way, that would have been the time. I felt so discouraged, so like my teeth had been kicked in, like the wind had been knocked out of me. You get the point. I was low, right? I'd lost pretty much everything I thought that I could have. I thought even that I might be losing my daughter at that point. And I somehow got to relate to this guru, who was an exclusive guru. Access was restricted. Most people couldn't get there. A friend introduced me. Somehow she shined her light upon me in a way that I reflected it back in a way that pleased her, I guess, or I don't know what was going on in her head and heart and her being. She accepted me into her inner circle very quickly, though, and it was, for me, it was an honor, and I was so grateful, and it felt like this is a savior, at this time. And so I was really open, very devoted. I put the caveat on that, very devoted relative to a person who's never been I am surrendered to one guru. I've been ruthlessly devoted to personal and spiritual development in many forms with many divine light beings that have come to me. So I did my best to be respectful of her and her allowing me in the community. There was a retreat that happened, virtual retreat, and on that retreat, I put up my hand, virtually, to ask for help. And I said, this is what's going on with me. I am feeling judgmental. And she said, oh, well, of what? And I said, well, sometimes of other people in this group that are sharing, sometimes of the way you're working with them. You know, to me, what was 100% obvious with this was that I'm aware that that's not who I want to be. I don't want to be a judgmental jerk here. I want to be free of that. I know that it's an encumbrance. I know that it's a lower vibration than what is my truth. That's why I'm saying it. And it was vulnerable. It was hard to say. I felt like a schmuck, right? So what I was saying was, help me with this. But you know what happened? I don't know, actually. I can't say what occurred inside the guru. What the fly on the wall perspective was, well, that's it then. You're out of here. And I was kicked out of the ashram, kicked out of the retreat. Never another word. The reason I'm telling you this now, and I tell a little bit different version of it, not the facts are different, but I emphasize and elaborate on certain parts in another video about a week back. The reason I'm telling you now is because it was hard. Let me say that, right? I was really low. I got lifted up a bit by connecting with this guru and pinned a lot of hopes there on my savior. And then I was face down in the dirt after that. It was extremely painful. And soon enough, though, I realized that, well, that was the gift. That was the lesson. That was the opportunity. That was my chance to experience more of my own light and the light in life, right? So going back to Guru Brahma, Vishnu, Deva, Maheshwara, the beginning, the middle, and the end, all life experiences, the wise disciple. Oh, look at that. We're turning this. It's not about the guru. It's about the disciple, right? Childreth, Joseph Childreth, is that his name? Wrote that book, Magical Child, Magical Parent, something like that. Beautiful, beautiful book about parenting and about guruship and discipleship. He defines the word disciple in that book as loving follower, beloved follower, something like that. Meaning that a disciple is one who is lovingly following a guru, perhaps. A disciple could be a child following their parent, or it could be any of us as disciples following light. And I don't mean Debbie Ford, Dark Side of the Light Chasers, that's all valid, but I mean that we're devoted to, dedicated to the light that's inside us and to experiencing it and shining it forth in the world, bringing more of it out to others. So yes, if we complete, and we'll wrap this broadcast up in a moment, if we complete the circle, what this month is about, gurus, saviors, saints, con men, villains, doesn't matter. Yes, it matters in a certain way, but for you, for me, it doesn't matter who they are, what they do. What matters is, what do we do with that? As Sartre put it, freedom is what you do with what's been done to you, right? And that's a wise disciple, the one that can take anything on the outside, any experience, anything anybody says or does, and say, how do I take that to become more light? How do I learn and grow from that? How do I become more loving based on that? How's that sound? So, I think that's a perfect place to close for now. And after these 478 years of radio silence, no, I've been doing other things, but coming back to broadcasting, I'm glad for it. Thank you for tuning in whatever way you have. I'll be back next week at this very same time, which is Thursday, 10 a.m. Hawaii time here on Maui, which at the moment is 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Those are U.S. time zones I'm speaking of. So once again, that's 1 p.m. Pacific time on next Thursday, which is, where are we now? It's the 11th, so that'll be the 18th. Love to see you there. Thanks, y'all. And again, please, any comments, questions, agree, disagree, your experience of gurus, I would love to hear from you. We'll happily read and respond. All right. Aloha.